Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone. Shalom to mighty YAHAWAH, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity, as well as a speckled bird that may look like the other nations, but are actually Yasharallah. This is Brother Kawakab coming at you with another lesson. Today's lesson, I want to go into this video, and today, very clearly, it's going to be a bit different. I'm not playing the video. I'm starting to see that, sometimes I really don't need to play the video. I can just tell you, and I think that conveys a way better message than going through listening to some of these things, because sometimes these things are pretty hard to sit through, especially when the information is just objectively incorrect. All right, so but sometimes maybe I will play the video, and I will try to go back into putting the videos in the description again. Aside from that, the thing here with these videos, this video here where it says unpopular opinion, Hebrew Israelite groups move like extremist groups, and this is very just like objectively incorrect, as well as intentionally and maliciously dishonest, because where do you see us lynching so-called white people? Where do you see us lynching so-called Asians or literally any other ethnicity that's not an Israelite? All right, so already like this, and I already did a similar video to this on someone else, where what he was talking about, he was basically saying that we are, I forgot that fucking asshole's name or YouTube channel, but he was basically saying that we were some of the most evil people ever, when again, it's just like, well, where do you see us going around killing and murdering people? And it's just like, how are you going to compare us to the KKK when the KKK actually go around killing people and they get away with it? All right, and that's a crazy thing about it, because if we as so-called black people, and Slocky, taking it a step further, because I forgot the kid's name, but the kid that so-called black kid that went on a trip with his white friends, and he was the only black kid there, and then basically they brought his so-called friends brought his phone back and said, oh yeah, we couldn't find him, here's his phone or whatever and stuff like that. Like, this is the stuff that's going on. This is the stuff that these people are still actively getting away with. But let it have been a so-called black person or a group of black people doing the exact same thing to a so-called white kid, then they would have gotten in trouble for it. And that type of stuff, I think in the few times that I have heard of, the reverse happening, they were extra harsh on the so-called black kids because they were so-called black, and it's because they want to so badly find them guilty. And even with the statistics, if you go check the statistics out, so-called black people are more likely to be convicted with crimes, more likely to be found guilty, regardless of if they are innocent or guilty. So how is it that we're just going to completely ignore these objective facts, mind you, objective facts, all right, when all the evidence is right in your face? All right, so with that being said, I'm gonna try to remember a bit of what's going on here. So she was basically saying it's an unpopular opinion. No, actually, that's a popular opinion that they do, where they do kind of demonize us. So the next thing here is oh yes, basically comparing so-called blacks, well, us Israelites, cursing people out to lynching people, which is, again, it's incredibly dishonest and dumb. Next, this is another thing. My personal, I don't know if pet peeve is really the best term to use or whatever, but something that I genuinely I generally don't like is people saying, "Oh, you don't need a Bible. You don't need someone to tell you that hurting people is wrong and or whatever and stuff like that." Well, no, and well, that is incorrect. You do kind of need someone to tell you what's right and what's wrong. Even if you think about it like this, like when it comes to children, sometimes children do take it upon themselves to think, "Oh, well, I can hit this person, or I can do this, or I can do that," and they need to be told. A child does not automatically know. So, and basically the reason why I use the example of a child is because there is a starting point. You have to have a starting point somewhere. So if there is if there's an adult that was never told no, which we have that now, okay, hold on, that's a perfect example. The best example is right now. You have a grown-ass adults right now who are acting like children, literal children that are incapable of, comprehensive thought, all right, active today, all right, who are just dumb. They don't know what's right, they don't know right from wrong, and you literally have to, and people literally have to show them. They have to get their ass beat. They have to have something bad happen to them in order for them to know. So this whole premise is dumb. And then to take it a step further, there was this video that I had done a lesson on. I think it was like this. I'm pretty sure it was this month, but basically, it was this Christian. Where is my thing? It was this Christian guy who was talking about how atheists. Let me see if I can find it. Oh my god, I hate when they do that. It was a video. Let me see, make sure. It was basically, I don't remember the video, but it was some video where the dude was watching he was playing Legend of Zelda, and he was basically talking about how when it comes to atheism and stuff like that, how morals are formed, or how atheists form their morals. They say that it is off of, "Oh, well, if you don't want it done to you, then this is what, and you shouldn't have it. Let it be done to someone else," and stuff like that. And then it also goes into, "Oh, well, what feels good," and then what feels good to one person might be completely different to what feels good to a completely different other person. And then the problem becomes, well, this is an ever-changing morality system where there is the baseline can continue to change. The baseline can continue to be more and more skewed, where you tend to not. There it is. Call him LAWAYA.
Jesus says it's what comes from within a man that defiles him.
Bear with me, because it's over here, yeah.
But it should be apparent to even atheists that the human heart is wicked. Of course, they don't know what wicked means, though. The next appeal you'll hear from them is that if it hurts another person, then it must be wrong. So then they strive away from individualism and more toward the, quote, greater good of all of the human race. Interestingly enough, that is very foreign to the actual pagan or non-Christian practice. Who in history has looked out for the greater good of human race? Maybe your own tribe or clan, but no one ever just looks out for individuals stemming from their own morality. How narcissistic it is, though. Such a man-centered worldview. They'll look for their own glory in their own good, rather than what is the truth, and doing what is truly good.
So, basically, what I'm trying to get at is that he's trying to say that, yeah, people might say, "Oh, the greater," well then, what is good is what is good for everyone, as long as if everyone benefits from, say for example, making sure that everyone gets food. Okay, let's just say sharing food with everyone. So if that is what's for the greater good, then that would be something that's quote unquote good. But the issue with that is that no one in the history, all right, has ever done stuff for the greater good. They've always done stuff for maybe their own people or maybe for themselves, but it's never been that. But so while that whole atheistic morality may say something like that, but they will never actually put that into practice. All right, that's basically the issue with it. So now, continuing on with this, Romans chapter 13 verse 1, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of Yahawah. The powers that be are ordained of Yahawah. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinances of Yahawah, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. And the thing here is that when it comes to us Israelites, we literally tell our people, you know what, just as a result of where we're at, we have to, follow the laws. And while the laws may not always be, like, for example, working on the Sabbath, we have to work on the Sabbath. We can't avoid doing that. All right. And outside of working on the Sabbath, there's just what's it called? Let me see. Oh yeah, basically, not going out and trying to attack or fight against all the bullshit that we have to go through and stuff like that. Like that's a very big thing, a very main thing where we may want to do something, we may want revenge, but we don't seek that out. We don't go through with that. It's just okay. Well, for now, leave that alone. And the reason why we say that is because, or we go by that, but is because what's it called? It was here. So Romans chapter 12 verse 19, dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. So YAHAWAH is going to get revenge for us for all the evil that our enemies have done unto us. So that's why just like we're not going to be able to save ourselves, so just be patient, wait for the Lord to handle all these things, wait for the Lord to deal with our enemies. All right, now next, hold on. So yeah, there's a subject of the morality, people demonizing us and saying all this shit. And then Proverbs chapter 17 verse 15, he that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord. So basically, to end it off here, I just genuinely hate how we are demonized for preaching this truth. We are demonized for reading what the Bible says, telling our people what the Lord says and how we were wronged. But yet when the KKK goes around murdering people, you cry and then say, if they could, well, like we couldn't do this, we have to do this, or we're dying, this, that, and the third. You're crying, pleading to your freaking slave masters for stuff that they did, acting as if they're going to look at you look at you crying, look at you suffering at your losses and feel sorry for you, and then turn and be a good person. And that's not what's gonna happen. All right, but yet demonize us, talk all bad, lie on us, say all these terrible stuff about us. All right, that's how Jake and even Esau does. All right, because they've sided with the world. So with that, I pray this system was edifying. I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH Hashem, YAHAWASHI Hashem, double honor to the elders and apostles, Ray Son of Shalom.